Good evening, Earthlings, and welcome to the second episode of This Week in SEO for Saturday, the 14th of February 2015. My name is Peter Macinkovic and I'm a digital strategy consultant at Apex Action, based in the sunny, cloudy, rainy shores of Melbourne, Australia. This Week in SEO is a weekly publication that talks about some of the latest news and thoughts in the world of search engine optimization, and I help provide insights into each article. Today is Valentine's Day, and while my lovely wife is toiling away at her job to bring home the bacon, I bring you this week's roundup. The first article is 2015, the year of broken link building. This is from the googlecache.com blog under the White Hat SEO section. So Rush Jones talks about broken link building as the surefire tactic to build links in 2015. Now, while I agree that it is a worthwhile link building technique, as it's the only realistic technique that satisfies three core aspects of link building. A, it's white hat. B, it's relevant. And C, it's scalable. And the scalability key is here because there is essentially a limitless supply of broken links on the internet. If you have relevant content such as a resources page, this technique is dead easy to build links with. However, I have to say it's shallow to believe that this is the only technique available for modern link building. I mean, the alternative link buildings, if you're a pure white hat person, some of you aren't, and I'm not here to judge you. It's basically comes down to either outreach, so convincing people to link to you, and you have techniques such as ego baiting, where hey, it's a great article, I wrote a response to your article, here it is, and they might link to it. That kind of stuff. And that's essentially applying sales or public relations to the field of search engine optimization, and SEO is a marketing field, and with technical elements. And of course, the other techniques are just pure manual link building, like using the elements of Web 2.0s, where user contributed content can just build volume links. They're good. That's good for authority link building, but it might be difficult to get relevance. At least modern day relevance. I mean, you can still game a few buddy press websites and publish blogs and just be a legitimate person. Of course, if you're black hat, you just create random anonymous users and just do it for volume, and if things don't stick, they don't stick. But we try to do things white press here. I mean, it's better because the links stick for a long time, and basically when links stick for a long time, it's better because the older that page is, the more authoritative it is. Now, if the page never gets updated, that's another thing. But that's enough for that article. It's a good article. He talks about why he does enjoy using broken links to identify it, and why it is at 2015. It's probably the one that you get the most bang for your buck as a link building technique. This one particular technique. The next article, Google. Duplicate titles are not as panda search quality issue. This is from Search Engine Roundtable, or seroundtable.com. So Barry Schwartz shared a webmaster hangout by Google's John Mueller. He's in charge of Google Switzerland, I believe, or maybe Google Europe or something, which remarked how duplicate meta tags and page titles do not necessarily indicate a measure of search quality. Website content quality is measured by Google, and this I thought should be obvious. Page title is, anyone who's measured SEO, is clearly influential, but bad titles might not even be indexed on poor quality websites. However, the statement simply highlights my personal common criticism of fools who listen to everything that Google reps say as gospel. Duplicate titles and meta may not hurt your website's search quality per se, but it is indeed indicative of if a website is trying to optimize for SEO. And anyone who has eyeballs can see that top search results on search engine pages, you don't even have to be an SEO person, can see that they involve the actual term. Now, there is exceptions. Whatever the equivalent LSI terms that Google use, for example, if you were doing search engine optimization for a blinds company here in Australia, if you were to type in the term Holland blinds, Not a single page on the front page of Google, probably the first 5-10 pages, will have the word Holland blinds in the page title because they have another word. They have roller blinds because roller blinds is the LSI keyword for that. It's the main term for it. It's been growing for 5 years. You can see that in Google Trends. And even though it's part of the vernacular, particularly here in Australia, I'm not sure if other countries, and some people do indeed search for Holland blinds, they're looking for roller blinds. And Google is smart enough to just showcase roller blinds basically. So if you have a bad search engine optimization company, and this is why I mentioned this, I've actually had not my client, this was a client of my last job that I left. They were optimizing keywords for Holland blinds, not realizing that they were competing with roller blinds, which was a much more competitive field. There were people already doing search engine optimization for roller blinds because that's a dramatic field. I'm not going to call them amateurs because they actually do get paid, but they were optimizing for Holland blinds, thinking, oh, it's great, no one's got the page title for Holland blinds in page 1, and not realizing that the page will not rank at all. And the pages that they weren't ranking were the ones that actually got indexed in the SERPs. 50 plus results later, it was another page that they weren't even trying to rank. Anyway, I just get bad at bad SEO jobs. And that's enough of that rant. But yeah, so don't take duplicate titles and stuff. Just use your brain, use your eyeballs, people. But it is good as a qualifying mechanism. As a qualifying mechanism, it's important to see if someone's not trying to do search engine optimization, seeing duplicate titles and stuff is a pretty good indicator. That means they're either doing it programmatically or they're just not trying. And it can showcase a whole bunch of quick wins that you can just quickly optimize the website so that it can be more relevant for the term. The other quick wins are obviously doing a site name and then just searching terms to see which pages actually are relevant for the internal site search according to Google. And of course, my favorite way is just typing related : for the page to see if there's any results. That's a massive advantage for aged websites. If you have a brand new website, it's very hard to get a related : blah blah blah. If you're not producing relevant results for the page, then there's something wrong with the way you're building relevance to your web page. That could be internally, externally, it could be the content, it could be anything. So, for example, if you're a web design company, you do related : your URL. If it produces other web design companies, great. That means Google knows you're a web design company. It knows you're a service provider. It knows that you're doing this. This is your site structure, and this is what you should be ranking for. If it comes up with web design articles, there's something you're doing wrong. I mean, it's just plain and simple as that. Okay, our next article. 8 advanced on-page SEO technique your boss expects to know. This is from Search Engine Journal, and this is by Ben Oren, who writes on search engine optimization about 8 on-page techniques that advanced SEO experts should really know. And this is a very advanced and very technical article, so I will briefly talk about it in 8 points, but please visit the article. It's linked in the show notes. Okay, first point is internal link structure does not tell a story. You have to identify the strongest pages in your website and link internally to your landing pages. So if your landing pages only have it through the IA, the information architecture, and receiving links from there, if they're not placed links from relevant other content from your website, it might not get the relevant authority or relevance to rank. And you can check this using the PR method, or you can use third-party authority tools such as page authority, domain authority, the citation and trust levels from Majestic, or the Ahrefs ones. A lot of people like Moz's ones, which is the page authority, domain authority. I don't, because they suck. They don't have enough volume from Open Site Explorer, or I think technically it's Linkscape. They only have about 2 or 3% of your link profile, and that's abysmal. It's not good enough. It's not good enough compared to Majestic or Ahrefs, and even they aren't good enough. Anyone who's really should be doing it themselves. If you're doing it deeply, you should just have an index of all pages that you've created and anything that you've found, and add that to a huge index and check it manually with Scrapebox. Do it the normal way, people. Confusing root folder. So that's cleaning up old and used files. A lot of Ben's article is a lot of webmaster stuff. So I'll let you know if there is just a lot of HT access. So duplicate content right under your nose. So this is essentially just ensuring web pages aren't indexed for multiple variations. So whether you have campaign URLs indexed, variations such as queries, GET requests, HTTP www or different subdomains, and if it's the same content, it's not good. You should be just telling everyone one page is one page. Of course, this is easily resolved with just a rel canonical link. I mean, you don't have to go full, but you should. I mean, at least try. Site loading page. So faster websites are more usable and rank better on search. This is big for me because I essentially don't like web pages that load less than 2 seconds or less. My homepage, apexaction.com.au, loads in less than 2 seconds. Maybe it will change depending on where you're located. And it will probably load a lot faster than that if I just paid for better hosting, which I don't, and I really should. It's my business, and I should invest in it. But yeah, page speed is something you should focus on. So, I mean, a lot of people tell you the fastest and easiest way to do it is just enable gzip compression on your website and cut down on the HTTP requests. So, use image, image spreadsheets if you have to, or just don't. Compress all your images. So learn how to use PNG quant. If you can just use tiny PNG, which is the tinypng.com, and that will optimize your PNG images from 24-bit to 8-bit, which will save about 60 to 70% off it. Or just use PNG quant like a normal human being. So you have your images folder, type in PNG quant asterisk, and magically optimize all your PNG files in that folder. Done. Easy. Less than 2 seconds of work. Okay, and other than that, you can also do stuff like optimizing the HTTP requests for the critical CSS. Basically, that's inlining CSS for the critical parts. And this is quite difficult because the critical CSS is hard to figure. It's not just the above the fold content, it's also structurally. Like there is a good tool, but I can't remember what it is that I use to generate critical CSS. But just type in critical CSS generator on your Google device and find it, and just put your URL, put your CSS, and it will generate inline CSS. I use Drupal for my personal website, and basically I use a lot of layouts for the Omega 4 theme. So I have a base critical CSS, and for every single page, like the home page, the contact page, service pages have their own critical CSS appended to that. So there's 2 different style tags, and it's really difficult to manage, but it's just quicker, and it's important for being good, just being faster. It's more for conversion optimization than actual search engine optimization, but can be a tiebreaker. Other elements for Ben's list for his article was full transparency and disclosure of malicious features. So just no blacklisting CSS files and stuff like that. Google will think it's suspicious. Just be transparent about your resources. Broken URLs, don't have any broken URLs. Test them. You can use Screaming Frog. You can use Website Auditor like I do. But if you don't like Java being used as resources to your computer, you can quickly load up Screaming Frog. Find your broken links. There's also Zeno or Zenu, whatever it's called. It's overkill, but if you have a large-scale website like an e-commerce website, do it. And just make sure your URLs aren't broken. And if there is broken, but you've got rid of the content, for example, replace it with something, or just point it somewhere else that's relevant. And that's cleanup for URLs. Correcting mistakes and removing superfluous code. He basically lists, putting it through HTML, but it has to be like really disastrous, to be honest with you, because 70% of websites aren't compliant to W3C, the markup thing, and they shouldn't, because HTML, it's to serve the user. As long as the users serve presentable web pages, it doesn't matter if it's, I mean, to cover all the like IE and different stuff using the more advanced markups, especially with item props. I mean, with schema.org, using roles, which is the ARIA markup for screen readers. It's best for you to just don't. Just make sure there's no broken stuff. As long as your website's structurally fine, and if you use a tool like Emmet when you're coding, you should be fine. It's really difficult to, in this modern age, to build broken HTML unless you forget something, and you shouldn't. And the last point, which I actually thought was most important and poignant point for Ben's article, was lately semantic index and necessary keywords. LSI content is king, people. LSI content is terms that are synonyms, and this is going to get because latently semantic index is more for, it's a technical term. You never hear that used by Google. They use it as a different term in AdWords, which I forgot what it is. But like, related phrase match terms. So terms that, phrases that are similar to each other, for example. And this goes all the way to like computer science and document analysis for n-gram analysis. So n-grams are words or phrases that are similar to each other, and it could be even half words. So that's how search engines get really good. So like a 1 gram could be a 1-word swap. 2 grams might be a 2-word swap. So like, but yeah. So using related words instead of saying like search engine optimization, SEO, optimizing for that. Do you know what people who don't even know what SEO search for? They search for how to get customers to my website, how to get more traffic to my website, how do I get more, like that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, focus on stuff like the results or like branch off. So instead of just optimizing for the one word, like if you're like a digital strategy consultant like me, instead of like focusing on different ways to just on the digital strategy, focus on the consultant part. Like I'm a consultant, I'm a freelancer technically, or I do contracts, I do services, that kind of stuff. So that's the use of latently semantic index terms. And the article is very detailed. I highly recommend you read it for yourself. If you don't know what Scrapebox is, for example, you'll be lost when you're reading it. But it gets the most and extends beyond SEO. It's about being a good webmaster. Alright, so the next post is why SEO is awesome. This is on the digitalthirdcoast.net blog. So, Digital Third Coast is I believe they're a web design agency based in Chicago, and Barry Dyke writes one of the most passionate blog posts on SEO I have ever read. He shares what he loves about SEO. Can you answer the question, why you do something? I mean, anyone can tell you how you do something. You can say what you do. Like, I do search engine optimization, or I help bring customers to online. And you can even say how you do it. Like, I build authority profiles to build authority to the website to make it more reputable. I build relevant articles to increase the relevancy of all my pages. I ensure that the pages are semantically marked up and use schema.org so that that search engines know what they're about. But why do you do it? Like, what drives you to do marketing? What drives you to do search engine optimization? What drives you to do business, like small business? And, the reason why I do it is because I was a project manager. I did web design stuff. I did some programming and stuff. Not that well, and I really, really loved SEO. I mean, I switched my whole career path to do search engine optimization. And Barry, like, in his article, provides insights on why he loves SEO, why he loves marketing, why he loves like solving people's problems, because that's what you're doing as in search engine optimization. You're helping people bring customers to their business or bring users to their website. And on the flip side, people who are searching online for a business or for a service, you're satisfying their search intent. You're answering their prayers, their questions. You're ultimately helping people. That's what search engine optimization is all about. And I love this post by Barry Dyke from Digital Third Coast. So if you're based in Chicago, you hire these people because they care. I've worked for web design companies that don't care. They've actively lied to clients about their level of expertise. they do stuff for the first time and act like they're experts. I mean, my last job, they didn't even use like CSS processes, preprocess, for example. That's not even professional in 2015 or 2014 when I was there. So I love that. Just love that. And the final post is a sponsored post by me, Product Camp Melbourne 2014. So apexaction.com.au/blog/Product Camp Melbourne 2014. So from the Apex Action website, I went to Product Camp for 2014 in October 2014. I have the date. You can just check on the blog what the date is. And we're just talking about the product development process. There's a lot of ideas in this field that you can directly apply to SEO and marketing if you're willing to think a little bit outside the box. I mean, these people build products for a living. They either work for large enterprises or the small startups, but it's just wonderful. And it's a very, very long blog post, and I'm actually still updating it. I have about over 3,000 words thus far, and I still haven't even finished it, but I keep updating it on occasion. But please check it out. There's a lot of great insights, especially if you're interested in user experience design and developing products. And some of these iteration techniques I honestly adopt for SEO, for testing if links are effective. So yeah, I mean, it's great stuff. So that'll do it for this week in SEO, the second week of February for the 2015 calendar. Thank you for catching the show, and I'll speak to you next week. Good night, Earthlings. Audio provided by Jahzzar. Candy from the Tumbling Dishes Like an Old Man Wishes album, available at the freemusicarchive.org/music/JAHZZAR. Peter Macinkovic is a digital strategy and SEO consultant based in Melbourne, Australia.